Howdy everybody. We're on our way to plant some trees, but I wanted to stop here first to give you a sense of the wildflowers that are around here. Lena's going to show some of them. This grass with these tufts like this, I'm going to have to look this up and see if I can identify it, because this grass was never here before. The sheep brought this grass in here somehow. They didn't actually bring it, obviously, but the sheep being here created the conditions where this grass could thrive. Okay, so we're here at the 7th swale that we have on the property. 7 out of a total of 11. I dug the hole already. So what we're going to do is we have some fruit trees here. 2 cañitos, a mango and a citrus. And we're going to plant these 4. Now we do this on a fairly regular basis because some of the fruit trees don't survive, and those that don't survive, we have to replace them. We use a technique for growing fruit trees that was developed by Mark Shepard. Really great guy. He has a great book called Restoration Agriculture. You should read it if you have a chance. And his technique is called S.T.U.N. And S.T.U.N is an acronym for sheer, total, utter neglect. That's his strategy for growing fruit trees. Sheer, total, utter neglect. Now Mark's wife didn't like how negative that sounded, so she made him change the sheer, the first one, to strategic. Strategic, total, utter neglect. But the idea behind it is you want the strongest trees to survive. You don't want to be wasting a lot of your time on trees that are very weak. You might spend a lot of time with them, you might spend a lot of effort with them, and they die anyway. So that's the idea behind sheer, total, utter neglect, the S.T.U.N method. And so you plant the tree, you give it a good start, and then the tree is on its own. So to give it a good start, we're going to put some compost in the hole because the soil here is still not that great. Now these cañitos are small. The ants have been eating some of the leaves on them. Now cañito is a purple fruit. It's a small round purple fruit. Looks a lot like a mangosteen, actually, a purple mangosteen. It's not a mangosteen though, it's not in that family at all. It's kind of white on the inside and it has sections and you eat them. It tastes very good. Now, one thing that I know, here in Nicaragua, when you go to a nursery, what we call a vivero here, you're going to get your trees and your plants in these plastic bags. I know that we have a plastic problem in the world, but that's what's here, and we have to work with it. So what I've learned over the years is these trees that are in these plastic bags are almost always root bound. So you don't want to try to lift it out and just plant the whole clump of dirt in there, because that leaves the plant root bound when you do that. We're going to open this up, let the roots kind of spread out a little bit before we plant. Now we're going to put a little bit more compost in here to make sure that the roots get some good nutrition. Press this down. There's too much air in the soil. That could cause the roots to trim themselves, and we don't want that. We want them to grow. So we're not going to get up and stomp on it either. A little bit more compost in here. Get it off to a good start. Now we're going to take the dirt that was already in here. This is very rocky. You can see all the rocks down here. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It means that the soil is heavily mineralized. So on the one hand, that's a good thing. On the other hand, it can interfere with the roots being able to spread out. So we don't want that either. I'm pressing down here again. Not real hard, but making sure that I get a good solid foundation for the tree to grow. had some rain yesterday, so this soil is very moist. Now, to finish it off, I have some sheep droppings here. These are pellets. This is some of the best fertilizer because it works almost like a time release factor because of the shape of them, that they're round like this. They don't decompose immediately. They decompose more slow than the regular manure from other animals like the cow. And so I can put this directly right around here, and I don't have to worry about it being too much. It won't burn the roots or anything like that. Okay, so there we go. We did the first one. Doesn't look like it's very healthy, but it'll do okay. Okay, we're at the second hole. Now you might be asking yourself why it is that I dug the holes on this side of the swale. Well, not where the water is over there, but this side of the swale. And that is because the water that is captured in the swale soaks down through the land. So I want to try to capture that as much as I can. I'm going to plant most of the trees on this side because that's where the plume of the water is going to slowly come. And again, the top of the swale is the driest part of the swale. And I don't want to be in the driest part either, unless if I have a tree that likes to be in dry areas. Let's just lift this citrus out of here. I'm going to assume that it's root bound, so I'm just going to rip the bag. I'm not going to try to take the whole clump of dirt. And it is root bound, you can see. You can see all the roots here. So now I'm going to free kind of prison that they've been in and give them a chance to breathe. Put a little bit more compost in here around this root ball. And then bring in this moist dirt that I dug up yesterday. Now this soil here is not nearly as rocky as the one that we planted for the cañito. Again, I'm going to give it a good, make sure we don't get a lot of air pockets. Now we're going to put some of the sheep manure on top. Okay, let's move to the next hole. Okay, we're at the third hole now. Again, it's on this side of the swale, the lower side of the swale, of the berm, so that we take advantage of the plume of water that is going to be created. Putting some compost in here to get our tree off to a good start. This time we're going to be planting a mango, and it actually is a series of mangoes. I don't know how this happened, but there's a bunch of them here. You can plant two trees in the same hole without any problem. And so I'm not going to try to separate these. I'm going to plant them the way that they've grown together because they seem happy that way. Again, this is going to be root bound. I'm going to open it up a little bit. A little bit more compost. We're in the last hole now, filling with some compost. This is going to be another cañito we're planting. So we planted 4 new fruit trees that we're using the S.T.U.N technique to grow them. So I'll be out here watching them. I'm not going to have to put a whole bunch of water on them because the soil is very wet from the rain yesterday, and it's supposed to rain again today too. So if it doesn't rain today, I'll come up tomorrow and give them some water. But beyond that, I probably am not going to do a whole lot because that's the S.T.U.N technique. Strategic, total, utter neglect. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching.